We've got some new inflation data. Is it good news for the sports card hobby or bad news? Let's talk about it. Hello to all my sports card collectors, investors, all of my collectibles friends. We are back again. It is another day. It is another card and collectibles video. Thanks very much for joining us. I hope you guys are all having a fantastic day. If you're new here, you're looking for daily sports card collectibles style content, you have come to the right place, my friends. Please hit the big red button down below, the subscribe button. And also don't forget to hit the like button to help us get these videos out to the sports card masses. Also connect with me on IG at Sports Card Dad. I'll throw up some reels and posts every now and again. Try to be funny. My kids mostly think I'm dumb, but that's okay. That's being a dad. I'm also on Twitter, the Sports Card Dad. Before I get started, we've got a new channel partner. Big thanks to today's video sponsor. One thing I hate more than hobby scam type stuff, identity theft. Did you know that every 14 seconds there is a new identity theft victim? My story with this is a couple years ago, I had a credit card actually made with my name on it and $700 worth of gift cards charged to it. Fortunately, I was able to work it out with my credit card company, but if I had found this out sooner, would have made it a lot easier to deal with. That's why I've partnered with Aura. Aura is an identity theft protection, fraud monitoring, VPN, password management, antivirus software, all in one easy-to-use app. Aura monitors the dark web for any issues arising with your phone numbers, email addresses, social security number, and sends alerts to you fast, either via text or through email. When I signed up with Aura, I found out that I had 41 email breaches, and it showed me where the issues had popped up so I could make the needed adjustments very quickly. Guys, make sure that you are protected. If you use my link, aura.com/sportscarddad, you'll get a 2-week free trial. You can check it all out, see for yourself. It's absolutely worth it. Get that peace of mind. All right, guys, the August CPI report came out. That is the Consumer Price Index. It is the thing that gauges inflation in the US. And was it good news, bad news? It wasn't great news, but it could have been worse. So in the month of July, we had 8.5% increase in prices. And this is that we're covering things like food, shelter, gas, etc. Last month in August, prices rose 8.3%. So this is a slight adjustment. It's a little bit better than where we were, but it's still pretty hot inflation. It's still too high for what the Fed is going to be comfortable with. Now, when does the Fed meet again? When does Jerome Powell meet again to talk through all this stuff and make a decision? It's coming up just here in a few days. So they didn't have an August meeting. Now they've got a September meeting. I believe it comes up on the 20th or the 21st. And it is expected that there is going to be another rate increase, probably a half point, 3/4 of a point, maybe 1 point, but probably not. I think that would be really kind of stretching it. Currently, the rate is 2.25 to 2.5, so that would get us kind of right over that 3% mark. Now, look, if we're comparing historically, this is still historically low rates, but we also have massive debt that we haven't always had, and you have to keep in mind that as we raise that rate, we're also raising the interest rate on our own debts. So not a great situation. That's why the government's got to play this balancing act. They can't just be like, oh, okay, we've got massive inflation. No worries. We're just going to pump the rate up and we'll take care of that. No problem. They can't do it like that. So here we are again. We're kind of in that same boat, and they have consistently been raising the rates. They've been very consistent in their message of like, hey, we want to get inflation down into that 2% mark. Now, why hasn't the country been paying as much attention to this lately? Because I feel like this news was really hot a couple months ago, not as hot recently. Why is that? Well, the reason is because gas prices have fallen about 10% since last month, and they've been kind of dropping steadily over the last 45 days, 60 days-ish. And so what a lot of people pay attention to, of course, is how much it costs to put gas in their car. I mean, a lot of people, especially got an SUV, truck, you really feel that. Whereas with food prices and other things, you don't really notice it as much, especially if you're a homeowner. When you hear rents are going up, well, that doesn't really affect you because you're not renting. So lower gas prices from what we had, a couple months ago, it's really kind of eased concerns. It's like, you know what? All right, food is going up a little bit, but gas is down to where it's manageable. So I can live with this. What does this mean for the sports card hobby? How does it affect it? Well, I think that we can pretty much say here, and this is just my opinion, but over the last few years, with the increase in wax, with the increase in singles prices, this has now become kind of a rich man woman's game, if you will. I mean, let's be real here. I mean, the people that are really deep into sports cards collectibles, they either own businesses that are in the hobby, so their livelihood is made within the hobby, or they are pretty typically upper middle class or higher net worth folks. Most of the content that comes out on YouTube, on IG, it's huge sales. I bought a $5,000 card at this show, or I did a $50,000 trade, or a Mickey Mantle just sold for, $12 million. That's the type of stuff that gets headlines. So, and yes, I mean, you can operate in dollar boxes and do flips and still be in the hobby on a lower income. But just the reality of the thing is that lower income folks are less likely to be able to get in. It's just a higher entry point than what it was. I guess you can go and you can get into retail. The retail wax is actually more available now than it ever has been over the last few years at Walmarts and Targets. But there's reasons for that. The reason for that, it's not because no one's interested in product. It's because the product has been so diluted that you don't really get any real hits out of the retail. So even if you're kind of on the lower income and you're trying to kind of get in and kind of level up, that's not very easy to do, because if there was hits in that retail product, people would be all over it. They would be at Walmart, they'd be buying it up, they'd be flipping it on the secondary market. That's part of the reason why secondary market prices for wax, even on the retail side, were very high in years past. Now, they're not so much. And so until those things correct, if you will, you're still going to have kind of this game of where, these macroeconomic things, unless there's a massive recession, it very well could happen. But the reality is, if they kind of balance this thing out and they're looking for a soft landing, it's possible for there not to be a massive recession. Is it possible that there could be? Sure. But if you told me in 6 months we're not having a massive recession, we're kind of just having a cooling off period, a continuance of that for asset prices, would anyone be that surprised? Probably not, because they're raising the rates and inflation is coming down. If that continues to improve, that's kind of the big thing, and unemployment remains low. That's the other big thing to watch. The unemployment rate, as long as it stays low-ish and it's not a widespread thing across the country where we've got 8, 9, 10% unemployment rate, then we're probably going to be okay and just kind of scoot through this thing and just kind of keep it, it'll be a little bit of stagnation, if you will, a little stagnant. It won't be as exciting. You won't see all the volatility that you've seen in years past, but probably for the good, because we've had it a little bit overheated. I think we can all agree over the last couple of years. So this is kind of balancing this thing out a little bit, getting back to normal, if you will. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Is the inflation affecting you, or is it just kind of something that's rolling off? You're kind of, you're good. You're kind of like, I'm just kind of rolling with it, but I'm still doing my hobby thing. I would like to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and don't forget to check out aura.com. My link is in the video description and in the comments pinned below. Take care.